Hello, chefs. This is Chef's PSA Podcast. I'm your host, André Natera. On today's episode, we have Chef Paul Qui. He's the winner of Top Chef Texas. He's a restaurateur in Austin. Today, we talk about the creative process, his industry predictions, what it's like running multiple restaurants, and a whole lot more. Stay tuned.
Yeah, so it's funny that you mentioned MMA because I had known nothing about MMA, but I listened to the New York Times podcast quite a bit, and I think
I didn't even know the New York Times had a podcast, by the way.
yeah, it's called The Daily.
Yeah,
and
it's good?
it's pretty good actually. That's the one podcast that I listen to quite a bit.
Yeah.
And MMA has never been part of my life, and there was a whole thing about Dana White relationship to Trump and all that stuff, right? But what piqued my interest is like I didn't realize how much risks were taken for MMA to launch the way it did. And it's funny that you mentioned that you love everything about MMA, because I'm like, after hearing that podcast, you mentioning that, like it piqued my interest, and I'm like, doing some research and doing some homework, and actually, it sort of made me get what the sport is, and I like to tell a lot of people, I'm like, man, since I started cooking, I have zero hobbies. And I started cooking 24 years ago.
Yeah, shit.
You know what I mean? And 24 years, like I used to snowboard, I used to ride bikes, I used to do all these things, and then all that shit went out the window, right? And I just started focused on cooking. But I think part of my process recently too, to healing myself and making myself feel whole, is that really enjoying things outside the restaurant.
Yeah, like what?
It's kind of funny, but for a while, I was riding bicycles, and that's my favorite thing to do in Austin. But at the same time, I like to take care of animals.
Yeah, what do you mean, like strays or?
Yeah, pretty much strays and fostering and my own pets. And
How many pets do you have?
I mean, right now I have four that are mine.
Yeah.
I just had one that just recently passed. So for a while, I had 2 dogs and 3 cats in my house.
Yeah.
4 of those animals are over 14 years old.
Wow.
Right. And then I fostered a kitten. I thought was a kitten. Ends up being a pregnant cat, and she has 6 kittens.
Oh, wow.
So I have, and I'm just kind of nurturing them until they're basically like, I think they said 6 to 8 weeks, and I could start getting them shots and fostering them. So right now I'm like kind of fostering the kittens. I think they're 6 weeks in. I'm ready to get them their shots, and I'm ready to get them out of my house.
Have you always had a love for animals, or is this new?
I think part of what I do love about the hospitality industry that kind of drew me to it, just like for me, it's just being compassionate towards something or someone, right? Like being able to take care and being able to be hospitable, and actually being, I feel like, I mean, like there's nothing like instant gratification, right? That's why I feel like a lot of chefs are in restaurants. You cook it, you eat it, you taste it. Yeah. And there's nothing more gratifying than, seeing, like going home to a bunch of animals that love you. Because that's as unconditional as that can be,
You could be gone for 15 minutes and the dog is so happy to see you.
Correct. And I mean, for a lot of us crazy chefs, a little bit of that warmth at home is like all I need. It's better than a shot of whiskey, a shot of whiskey and whatever else you're going to get into that night.
Right. Yeah, no, I got a dog.
Yeah.
I love my dog.
Yeah, I see him, I'm like, I can't go out now. I'm just gonna cuddle with you all night. And that warmth is important, especially in the industry that we're in, because there's so many sharp edges, just, everywhere in the restaurant, like it's just, it's the formula for a very toxic environment if you let it. But at the same time, if you have other influences that give you that warmth outside of the restaurant, it makes me a better chef.
Well, it's interesting that you say it's a formula for toxic environment, because it is. You got financial pressures.
Correct.
You're short staffed.
Correct.
The tickets are coming in.
Yeah.
Someone called off.
Yeah.
The server forgot to ring it in correctly. And then they wonder, well, why are you mean? It's like, well, there's a lot going on.
Correct.
There's a lot going on. So it's like people say, like, why are all kitchens like that? It's like, well, if I give you all the ingredients for a cake and you keep giving me a cake, I'm giving you all the ingredients to bake a cake.
Yeah.
And then you get upset when you keep giving me back a cake. Part of the problem, though, is that we recognize it now. Not part of the problem. Part of the solution, though, is that we recognize it now. It's like, okay, we realize that something has to change, because for so many years it was, well, this is the way it is. You just gotta deal with it. But now so many people don't want that.
Yeah.
People want something different. And not only that, it's like I was thinking about this the other day. It's like coming up as a chef, like we missed everything. Like missed the birthday, the Christmas, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And so the next generation coming in, well, they don't want to miss it, but we missed it, so you should miss it. Like that's kind of sometimes the mentality that we have.
I've had to change my attitude on that, you know? So and anytime I'm accused, I used to laugh about it. I might make a joke or two here with somebody that I know it's old school, but at the same time, I do it from a place of warmth that I'm just like, you know what? They're smarter.
Yeah.
The next generation is smarter, and they're protecting what's important to them. That's important. Yeah. Obviously, there's people that take advantage of that. Yeah. And you still have to be somewhat, you still have to scrutinize it at times, you know? Yeah. When you get in your gut that
it still has to be earned.
Bullshit,
it still has to be earned at some point.
Correct.
But at the same time, it's like, yeah, well, I got beat up, so you should get beat up too. It's like, that doesn't work.
Gone.
That doesn't work.
Mentality's gone, man.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because you have a restaurant empire. I like to say you have an empire, but I'd imagine that a lot of the ways that you're scaling the culture in your kitchens and in your service teams is like you got to start thinking about this stuff, right? Especially for retention and
for sure. And I feel like I've been sort of blessed that it sort of happened for me organically. Yeah. And I think that's how I naturally like to do things. And we talked about the word empire, and for me it's more like like a confederacy of people that I've worked with, you know what I mean? Or like, just like this just really strong alliances with people that I've grown up with in the kitchen, right? Mm-hmm. That I end up being partners with. So every single restaurant that I pretty much own, I'm partners with somebody that I've known for probably over a decade.
Yeah.
That used to be my original hotline at Uchi, my hot and cold line. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
we talked about this when we did the Michelin podcast, but I mean, there were some killers that came out of Uchi during that time, especially like some legendary Texas chefs. I don't know what the secret sauce was at Uchi, but I mean, when you were there, Phil Spear was there. I mean, so many. I mean, we could go on and on. But at that moment in time, what do you think it was that was creating greatness to come out of that kitchen?
I mean, I ran that kitchen solidly for 8 years. I had pretty close to zero turnover.
Yeah.
And all these guys that I worked with could have gotten jobs at other places and get more pay, better titles and all that stuff. But we decided to stick together. That was I think for me, that was the big secret sauce, because we didn't open the second restaurant until 8 years after the first one.
Really?
And I retained that team for a long time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for me, it was just like, we were really, really close, man. We got into some stuff together. It was like family. And to make the juice that strong, that's still lasting 20 years later.
Yeah.
The Kool-Aid had to be really concentrated.
8 years is almost unheard of.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it's crazy.
And these guys had more experience than me coming into the restaurant.
Yeah.
They could have worked anywhere in the world, but they chose to we chose to stick together. And I mean, when you say empire and what I'm building now, I have guys that were with me at Qui when I opened Qui.
Yep.
Left, worked for some of the greatest chefs in the world. Mm-hmm. With huge accolades, Michelin, all that stuff. Decided to come back to Austin like 7, 8, 9, 10, some of them 10 years later.
Yeah.
To come roll this craziness that we're doing with Oko, Top Row, and all the other 8 restaurants that we're planning on opening in the next 2 years.
So how many do you have right now? And so you say you're going to open 8 in the next 2 years. What does it look like right now?
So right now we got, with the new group I just started, I got 2. Well, let me see, 2 personally. I got 4 in Austin right now.
Yeah.
Right.
So you got, for people that are listening, you got Top Row. You have Oko.
Old school brands are Eastside King. Right. It's 16 years old now.
Right.
And then we got a Tycoon, which is also over a decade. Yeah. Maybe 10, 11 years, right?
So you have 4 in Austin.
4 in Austin. And then I have a food hall in Houston called the Post Market Hall. Mm-hmm. I have 6 brands in there, which some of them are Eastside King, Tycoon. I started a Filipino brand called Soy Pinoy during the pandemic. Another one that's more fast casual than Oko, right?
Yeah.
And I had a bunch of talented chefs help me lift that one up. And then I started Golfstramen as well, and that was the #1 restaurant in Houston when I opened it in 2020.
Yeah.
And we have a 50,000 square foot food hall in Houston, right?
Right. Yeah.
And then Denver, I started a farm to table restaurant called Kokoni. It's in transition right now. It's like a 20-seat restaurant. That restaurant's for my soul. You know, I got to meet the farmers, got to meet some really talented chefs in Austin, in Denver. And I got to R&D some stuff, and really just be in a space where I'm just like, you know what, this space isn't about the money as much. You know, of course I got to sustain my staff, but you know, this staff was that space was more for me to be able to grow and as a chef, and it fed my soul, right? And then I have Pau in Miami, which is basically my I guess my oldest kind of quote unquote fine dining restaurant, even though it's not really fine dining service, but you know, it's in a gold dome with a gold unicorn in the middle of the room.
Yeah.
I've been there since 2015.
Yeah.
And it's funny because those guys, it's probably as fancy as a hotel can be. And I was like, man, I always make a joke. I was like, man, these guys didn't do their fucking research trying to pick me up. Because I came from a restaurant, I came from a food truck, and we made our own tables. Like my partners was like doing some of the millwork at the restaurant, you know.
Yeah.
And but yeah, they picked me up, and I've been there since 2015.
So did they reach out to you?
Yeah. So they emailed howdy@kiaustin.com.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, who's this guy? He wears white everywhere he goes. What's going on here? And they're like, oh yeah, you know, like. I remember the conversation for that. He was like, hey, I'm not trying to open one restaurant. He's like, Pau, I'm not trying to open one restaurant. If I'm going to open one restaurant, one hotel, that's nothing. I'm here to change culture. You want to join my revolution? I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm in.
Yeah,
let's go.
Yeah.
So 9 years later, I'm still with a group, right? And then during the pandemic, I also opened an omakase counter there called Secreto. It's a 6-seat counter at the Faina Hotel.
So how do you retain all the talent in the group? And is it one group overall, or are there multiple groups?
They're multiple groups. So the only thing that bridges all my groups together is essentially me. I think part of, you know, and I mean, like from if I had an MBA or something, I'll probably be like, hey, some of those deals are kind of shitty. Some of those deals aren't worth it.
Yeah.
That's not, my account's like, that's not making you money while you're doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, I just love the hospitality industry, man. And I love being around talented people. Like when people ask me what inspires me are my people.
Yeah.
You know, they force me to grow sometimes. Sometimes I'm too excited. I just want to be a part of their story, you know? Like I tell Harold all the time. It's like, dude, I'm just grateful to be part of your fucking story.
Yeah.
You know, let me set this up, you know?
And he's doing amazing things. I love the restaurant. The restaurant's great.
Absolutely.
And by the way, something that I told you,
Yeah.
but the restaurant has great music and great sound.
Always.
Oko. Like
Always.
It's probably the best sound.
Always.
Like it's so thoughtful.
Yeah. Always, man. Like for me, like that's always been paramount at any of the concepts I've ever done.
Yeah.
The music's always been important, you know?
Yeah.
Like even with Key, like I got people coming in and be like, hey, I remember that dinner because you know, Wu-Tang was playing.
Yeah.
And this was in 2010. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. You couldn't play Wu-Tang in restaurants in 2010.
I mean, I always did. Didn't care. I was like, all right, you're gonna pay some, you know. And granted, some of these artists are taboo now, but you know, I like to rock hard in the restaurants. And I'm telling my chefs, I'm like, dude, I used to say this all the time at Ruchi. I'm like, leave your fucking ego at the door. I don't, you know, like your ego's at the door. Check it every single time. When we come into the restaurant, we'll work as one unit, right? And and what I told them, I was like, it's not about you, it's not about the food, it's about the guest experience every single time, you know?
Yeah.
So like you can say, oh, this is off, that's off, but I'm like, at the end of the day, if they're having a fucking great time, let them have a fucking great time. You know what I mean? And a big part of that is the vibe, right? It's the environment. Like I always like to create restaurants that transport you to a different place. Like even at Top Row, everybody that I get in there, they're like, oh, this is not Austin right now.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, yeah, that playlist, I still got to tweak out a little bit with my team, you know, because, you know, I don't want it to be too clubby because we're underneath the nightclub, you know what I mean?
Right.
You know, so like for me, it's just about being a little bit eclectic. And I realize how old I am because I'm like, man, I'm playing Gangstar all the time in the restaurant. The younger front of the house staff, they're like, oh, can we play something different, you know? And they'll play something like John Summit or some, you know, some of these like it's like vibey like dance stuff. And I'm like, man, I just don't feel that when I'm in the restaurant.
Right.
You know? I'll play it sometimes.
What's funny is like our generation still thinks we're cool. Like you know what I mean?
But I'm like, oh,
we still think
right.
we're cool.
Exactly. Yeah. That is sort of a problem.
You know what's really
right?
interesting is that our generation still thinks we're cool, and the younger generation, we think they're not cool. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Like it's like they look at us like we're not cool, but like no, you guys are the ones that don't get.
Yeah.
You're not cool. We're still cool.
And I mean, like, I mean, part of the beauty of me taking me out of Austin though a little bit and doing stuff in Colorado and, you know, now in Chicago and in Miami, it just opened my lenses a little bit more, you know, like like I feel like for a long time there was like a certain style of hipster restaurant in East Austin that that dominated the scene, right? But it was still, like you go there like, okay, that was kind of cool, but it was kind of like not. I feel like Key was like that for a little while, where it was like up and down at times, right?
Yeah.
And that kind of defined the dining scene here in Austin, which was great at the time because those restaurants really like it was like a percolator, right? They simmered a lot of ideas, a lot of cooks, a lot of talent, right? To create the future restaurants. And then I feel like for a time, like Austin was in an influx, it was growing, and the people that were coming to Austin had a certain expectation of a certain type of restaurant.
Right.
And I feel like that was what was going on in the scene for a little while.
Yeah. No, you're right, because for a minute there, when I moved from Dallas to Austin in 2014, and I remember like there was in Dallas at the time the FT33 Matt McAllister's restaurant. It felt like it didn't belong in Dallas. It felt like it belonged in Austin.
Yeah.
But when I came to Austin, it was like there was like 20 FT33.
The same restaurant,
It's like they're like there's one of them there, but
I'm gonna blame Philip and I for this. It's like we used to look up to another chef named Sam Mason from New York, and he was Wiley Dufresne's original pastry chef, right?
Yeah.
So me and him, we didn't ever have money to travel. We would be on the computer all the time looking at this guy's food.
Yeah.
And then we realized, which is kind of the footprint at Uchi now, and it's sort of the footprint for a lot of structure for savory food here, is like we had, your protein, your puree, your soil, your tuile, your gastrique, and then your sauce. That was the formula for almost all the food. And I hated that style for a long time because I literally had to taste, I don't know how many thousands of specials over the years between Uchi and Uchiko's like team. To just be like, okay. I'm like, great. It's going to be another dish that has this. But it was really me and Philip's fault because Philip took it from pastry, made it pastry. And then I looked at it and made it savory.
Right.
And this was back in 05, 06,
It's funny because I had a very similar conclusion when I was a chef. Is like I was looking at a lot of EMP stuff at the time, and I was like, okay, they got like a dollop of a puree.
Yeah.
Or they have some punched out raw vegetables. They have some flowers.
Oh, yeah, the whole punches.
Right. It's like, and it was like, so you have your main focus, your seasonal ingredient, a couple of dollops of puree. It's like, boom, that's the formula, a sauce. And then you could just scale that with whatever season you're in and fill in the ingredient. But it's funny how, and they didn't write that down and saying that was their formula. I just kind of saw it. I was like, okay, I cracked the code.
Sure. Right. No, nobody really writes it down, but then I'm like sitting through tasting after tasting after tasting when I'm listening to the other chefs saying like, oh, I think it needs a gastrique, or I think it needs this, or it needs a little sour, it needs acid, it needs texture. And I'm like, then for a while I was like anti that. I feel like the last at least 10 years is like, I don't want any more texture. Like don't put a fucking tuile. Don't put like whatever on there, right? I've come around to where I'm like more accepting of everything. I think at least for me personally, that I've done as a chef, where I'm like not embarrassed of what the things that we did before,
Yeah. Oh, it's funny. Here's a story that I haven't shared with you, but nostalgia from going back.
Yeah.
So you had just won Top Chef.
Yep.
And you were doing a demo at the Texas Restaurant Association in Dallas, the TRA show.
Okay.
And I was going on stage right after you, right, to do my demo, right? And I remember I don't remember what you did, but it had
remember what I did. Is it?
But it had like a fucking, I want to say it had like a ponzu fluid gel and maybe some blueberries and some Asian pear.
Yeah.
Like nashi. I don't remember what else was in it.
Okay, yeah.
But it had some stuff like that. And I remember seeing that. I was like, that's fucking cool. And I remember talking to you right after that. I was like, what is that? Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. I was like, I'm fucking still there. I'm in Dallas. Like, that's going on my menu. Yeah. You're far enough where no one's going to know.
Well, for me, I love that kind of stuff, man. When people ask, hey, how'd you do that? I'm like, here's the fucking recipe, man. I'm not going to hoard that thing. I'm like, I'll even teach you how to do it, Like, and then, but I do the same with other chefs. Whenever I like something, I just tell them straight up,
Yeah.
And like, I remember my first menu at Key, every item, I gave a nod to whoever it came from, right? So my old Michelle Bra,
right? It was the vegetable dish.
The vegetable dish, right?
Yeah.
The gargouille that almost every chef of our generation copied, right?
Right.
And then I had a few other things that maybe I took from Jose or I took from Alinea, but I'll put their name on there.
Yeah. I didn't put your name to it. Yeah. It's no, for the world. Yeah, I stole it from Paul.
But for me, I mean, because I feel like restaurants are community, and you shouldn't be embarrassed to learn from somebody.
Yeah.
It's not really, I mean, and I know chefs that get mad with it if it's a straight rip and nobody says anything. Yeah, they'll be kind of irritating.
Especially when you're down the block.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm like, like, just share the ideas and let's see if we can come up with something better.
Yeah. No, it's interesting because I want to say around that time, modernist cuisine is like big movement. I want to say the big books are coming out, right?
Yeah.
And I remember,
I had Nathan Miravold at the restaurant, right? I had him as one of the guest chefs. So it was me, Nathan Miravold, and I don't remember if it was Sean Brock or what's his name from Pujol?
Enrico Vera.
Yeah, it was oh no, or maybe it was Ludo and
It was like during South by.
During South by. It was a pretty legendary week for me, just because I got to cook with all my idols.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
But it was really cool to see Nathan Miravold be the guest chef for the thing, because actually I had an amazing meal at the Modernist Test Kitchen in Seattle.
right.
It was probably up there for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of his techniques. I mean, his book. I have it on PDF.
Yeah.
I don't have the hardcovers,
Yeah.
but I remember going through because I was dabbling in that. Like when I remember I had the El Bulli set.
Yeah.
It came with the CD and all.
Yeah.
I used to geek out on that. I was trying to do that food, and no one was really doing it in the States. But it was still like, it was different back then if you were trying to self-teach.
Sure.
Because you just read the recipes like, and then you just like,
Now
now
you do it, you mess up, you taste bad, and you just
don't have
it
anything to ask the
perfect.
question like, what did I do wrong here?
Yeah.
So you just, it's a lot of trial and error.
Foods in Season. Not Foods in Season. What was that guy's name that was in Virginia that had that blog?
Oh,
Dude, I used to be on that blog all the time. It's something.
I know what it was.
Ideas in Food,
yes.
right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Ideas in Food.
Yeah.
That was a huge help for me.
Yeah. It was when people were still doing blogs and taking pictures. Now YouTube obviously sped things up. How do you deal with? So I want to ask you this: how do you deal with a lot of new people coming into the kitchen now that maybe want it a little bit quicker? They studied on YouTube. They watched a lot of Chef Steps videos. They follow all the right people on Instagram, and then they come into your restaurants and like, no, I want to do this because this is the right way to do it. I saw so-and-so do it.
I deal with it with grace these days.
Yeah.
I think it used to frustrate me early on, like the last couple of years, and like, I feel like nowadays I'm just like, okay, let's see what you got. Let me see what you do, and let me see how I can help you, right? So I just kind of approach it from a way of not necessarily saying, no, I know better, but just saying like, hey, let's try it. Let me see what you can do, and if it's not good, we're just gonna do it my way.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because now, I mean, there's an advantage now that the cooks have that we didn't have coming up. Because like, if I didn't know how to do something, I just had to figure it out or wait, and it might take me months to get there.
Correct.
So now it's like,
it's expedited.
yeah. Let me ask ChatGPT. Let me watch a quick video. I can figure it out in half the time, so I can get there quicker. But there's something to be learned in the old days by fucking up 100 times.
Yep.
Like.
No, it says a lot, man. It says a lot. Even with, I feel like there's a lot of young managers that are great on the books, great when you talk to them, but don't have the practical experience moving through a restaurant.
Right.
That kind of callous only comes with time. Right. You know what I mean? You need to be able to burn your hands a little bit, figure it out, cut yourself, and not on purpose, but you know what I mean? Just cut yourself by accident, and then you learn, like.
Yeah, and it's interesting because a lot of chefs, when I was winding down my career as a chef, like I was calm for everything. Like, fucking sky could be on like a.
Yeah,
it's okay.
Yeah,
it's not the end. And so people would ask me like, why are you so calm? It's like, because I've seen like every fucking disaster you're gonna throw.
Correct.
I've seen it.
Correct.
I'm not too worried about it. We'll get through it. But until you've gotten through it, like you haven't built that callus up. Like,
exactly.
Just do this, this, and this. Yeah. And to the new cook, to the new sous chef, it's like it's the end of the world.
Yeah.
Like I know everything about cooking, but I don't know how to deal with 2 call-offs and a full board.
Yeah.
Right.
It just happens when you engage it, right? It's like the more experience you have in it, the better you'll get. But you can't. There's no manual for it.
Yeah. Going back to the restaurant group. How do you spread your time between, Colorado, Miami, Houston, Austin, and everywhere else? And you're talking about opening up new concepts as well. Like, what does your day-to-day look like?
I mean, my day-to-day, it can be fairly hectic. I mean, like right now, like I spend most of my days at Top Row just to make sure we can launch the brand appropriately, But my day-to-day is basically like I'll look at my phone. And this, I know it's a little bit more old school, but I like end of day emails from all my operations that I can review in the morning.
Yeah.
Right. I'm starting to learn more about stuff like like my new ops director here in Austin. Like he introduced me to Craftable, and
What's Craftable?
Craftable is it's like a inventory purchasing, like it's a software to help me deal with my COGS.
Okay.
So like I review that every morning. I'll review my toast reports every morning, and
for people that are listening, COGS is cost of goods sold.
Yeah.
If you don't know what that is, cost of goods sold. Yeah.
But but the beauty of my position right now is that I feel like I'm and again, I'm gonna step out of the operation once I get the right team in place.
Yeah.
Is that I still get to cook.
Yeah.
I still get to cook. I get to make food, but I'm having to do with all the admin that goes with running a business, right?
If you had to say what your split is from a creative standpoint, like when I say creative, I mean, it could
Yeah.
be cooking, like
Sure.
literally cooking or
And-
thinking about food,
yeah.
or having to deal with admin stuff like invoices, processing, business deals, stuff like that. What's your typical time split?
I think it's a pretty even split right now.
Yeah.
I mean, since I am working the services at the restaurant, it makes it a little bit more difficult. But back to what you're saying about like how I was able to grow my empire, like my CDC and Faina she's been with me for 7 years.
Yeah.
My operations director for Eastside King and Tycoon, she's been with me for 12 years. You know what I mean? So it's just about the people, and of course Moto, my business partner there. He was on the line. He trained Tyson how to make sushi rolls back in the day. I'm a sushino,
Right.
And I've worked with him since 2005, 2006.
And where's she with you?
For Eastside King and Tycoon. Wow. And of course Ty, my boy Ty, who I've known, and he just opened Thai, which is the best Thai food in Austin.
Yeah.
He was with me since I think 08 at Uchi. So
Shout
like,
out to P-Tai.
yeah. It's fucking amazing. It's my favorite restaurant in Austin.
Yeah.
And then of course besides our own,
Yeah.
and that's sort of how I roll, man. I roll with people that I know I could trust, can watch my back, that've been with me for a long time and know my personality.
From a creative process, how does the creative process work as the collective group, or does it work with individual restaurants?
It works with individual restaurants, and this is what I tell every time I step into the market. I want the people making and growing the food to tell me what to do with the food.
Yeah.
I want the farmer to tell me what my menu is. I want my fishmonger to tell me I need to put this on the menu tonight, and that's what I roll off of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you're developing menus, let's just use your restaurants in Austin, and you have your executive chefs in there. How involved are you in the process?
Well, that's the thing. That I don't have an executive chef in every single one of them. Right now, right? I feel like Harold's our chef because to Cuisine Oko. I only have sous chefs at top row right now.
Okay.
Like I like to get to a point where I get to know these chefs. I get to know that I can hand them the keys, and I get to grow the empire with them. Like Ty, for example, he's the executive chef for Tycoon. He has his own restaurant as well, and we've kind of grown together.
Yeah.
Eastside King is essentially Moto. That I've been with him for a long time, right? So, but for me, it's different for each restaurant, and I don't have a culinary director per se that runs my whole operation.
You wear that hat.
So I sort of wear that hat.
Yeah.
But I can also wear the cook's hat, which I'm pretty grateful that I can still be in that space, but still build an empire and run a business.
Yeah. So you still have to throw down on the line.
Oh yeah, dude, I'll throw down.
Yeah.
I'll throw down. Yeah. I think before we opened Oko, right? It was still post-pandemic, very short post-pandemic, and I did a pop-up when it was still Austin then. Yeah, I did the 2-day pop-up. I was me and one other person. We were doing 100 covers each day, and I had to rock the line by myself.
Oh.
Like cranking like $8-9 grand worth of food.
To anyone listening, Paul Qui still got it. He could still throw down on the line.
So I'll still throw down on the line.
Yeah.
And I realized I'm like, man, this is what I fucking enjoy.
Yeah.
This is what I love, man. I'm just like, boom, 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 boom. Like it's great. Yeah.
So I want to ask you because we're recording early January, Brent, right into the new year. I just put out a podcast today actually about 2025 food trends.
Yeah.
What do you think the big food trends are in 2025? And this is going to lead into, you mentioned you have 8 restaurants you want to open. I want to see what you predict the food trends are for this year. How does that tie into the restaurants that you want to open?
And I don't know if it really ties into the restaurants I want to open, but because I feel like food is always in a cycle, right? It's like fashion, right?
Yeah.
There's a cycle that comes with it. I really think Tex-Mex and Southwestern cuisine is coming back.
Yeah.
To some degree, right?
Yeah. What do you mean? Like, because that's like, are we talking like, like enchiladas and?
Yeah, dude, like enchiladas, like Chi-Chi's. Like Chi-Chi's was the first Mexican restaurant that I've ever seen. That I experienced when I first moved to America in 1990.
Yeah. Do you think it'll be a different version of Tex-Mex, or
I think it's going to be a modern and different version. You already see it with something like barbecue, right? Where you have old school and new school.
Right.
I think like I think that you can't discount a cuisine that had such giant impact, especially in Texas and the Southwest. I mean, you got like Stephen Pyle and all those guys. I mean, you come from Dallas.
Yeah.
That was like the hub for a while for all cuisine in Texas. And it was
Everyone wanted to be Dean.
and it was all Southwestern cuisine. So I'm like, there's a little sense in that, right? To where the cycle will come back around. I think with a modern flair, modern ingredients, because for a while it was looked at. I'm like, okay, this is trash. You know, it's like beans from a can, deep with queso on it, and that's what the food is. But there's a lot more to it than that, you know. And I can see, you can just see some of the lists of the restaurants that are popping off, and you know, like I'm glad that the food writers are traveling to places like Arizona and New Mexico, finding these restaurants, you know, sort of the same restaurants that they're looking for outside of the major Texas cities, right?
Right.
I mean, shit, like I was so mad when Gabe opened his Tex-Mex restaurant in DC. I'm like, damn, man. And I asked him how it's doing. He said it's crushing it.
Yeah.
Because people get that food. But my thing is, no chef gave it an opportunity to make it nicer.
Yeah.
Because they were like, oh, that cuisine's garbage. Well, why am I going to do that? You know what I mean?
You wouldn't be taken serious as a chef 15 years ago if you said, oh, I do Tex-Mex.
Correct.
Like people would say, oh, you're not a real chef.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing with sushi though. When I started there, you know, like they didn't even they none of the lists wouldn't give a nod to a sushi chef because they're like, they're not really cooking. You know, you're mixing your sauces in a bowl. You know, it's not like everybody's spicy mayo recipe that everybody loves. It's not like they make it. It's a fucking dressing.
Right.
Right. That you put together. So sushi chefs got zero respect, you know, for a long time. So I feel like Tex-Mex is on that same route. And then the other thing is Chinese food, American Chinese food.
Like Kung Pao chicken, stuff like that?
Pretty much, you know. And I feel like, you know, like Mission Chinese kind of broke the ground a little bit, kind of went away.
Yeah.
Everybody did their own thing. And then I'm starting to see stuff now. I think mainly from Top Chef. I think she's opening a new restaurant in LA where it's like higher end Chinese. And then I'm looking at some of the trends from China and Hong Kong, and I'm like, holy shit! Everything I'm liking, it's like a Chinese restaurant, like or a Chinese American restaurant.
Like, you know, one of my friends, shout out to Blake, he's a chef also. He would always have this conversation like I could eat fucking Panda Express all the time. Like I fucking eat the shit out of
Panda Express done right is fucking delicious.
Yeah, like give me a Soigné Panda Express.
Exactly. Yeah. No, if they got the right wok cook, they know how to wok it the right way and have the right measure of sauce, which is, I mean, the training part is technical. Like don't discount it, man. You throw any line cook in a wok, dude, they'll burn.
No,
they won't even be able to handle it. They don't know what a hot line is until you work their faucet for. Yeah, like so. I'm like, to take that much skill and just to discount the cuisine because you see it everywhere. One, it tells me that it's popular, so there's something there.
Yeah, it's
People
delicious.
Get it. So why don't we just make it nicer?
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I like that idea of American Chinese food making it come because I love it. Honestly, it's something I could probably eat every day.
Exactly. It's something that every chef's embarrassed to say that they like.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I'd have to use that in my 3-part pan.
You know what I mean? It's like, okay, yeah.
Shit. Well, so what else besides those two? Do you have any other predictions?
And for food, I don't know, man. I feel like I see a lot of the new school restaurants, and I like the idea that nothing like it doesn't have to be like authentic. It doesn't have to be authentic. It's interior Mexican. Yeah. Because I mean, like even the restaurants that are opening now, it's not, dude. I'm looking at people's menus. I'm like, oh, you got Wagyu this, Wagyu that. You got, you know, like even a Latin restaurant sounds like an Asian restaurant at some point, right? Oh, and I mean like. And it's funny that you had David when you were interviewing David Sucio about it, right?
Yeah.
Or Guillotine. But you mean him? We're talking about, you know, like a lot of the Chino Latino connections. Like the Chino Latino food is fire. I don't care. Like it's coming from Miami. I see it a lot. Whether it's Chinese Puerto Rican, Chinese Peruvian, you know, it's fire. Like Chifa cuisine is making its mark, and that all sits into that realm of, you know, like I guess modernized or American Chinese, like the Chinese fusion thing. It's huge.
Yeah. So how does this tie into the restaurants that you're doing, if at all? And so when you say you want to open up 8 restaurants, or you're going to open up 8 restaurants, what does that look like? What can you share?
So I mean, like some of the restaurants, like I told you, like Golfstramen, there's brands I've already tested out with friends of mine. Yeah. So like Golfstramen started with me and my buddy Christopher Hattoff. He's a Michelin star chef from Bergen, Norway. He's also he was also at Per Se for a very long time, you know. And me and him wanted to do a sustainable seafood and steakhouse.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So that brand's already existed. We're gonna open the first location, brick and mortar location, probably in Chicago.
Oh, nice.
This year. Yeah. It's already under construction. And then the other thing I'm gonna try to do is we're gonna eventually do. I want to do a Thai, a Japanese, sorry, a Thai, a Thai Mexican restaurant is what I want to do because I feel like
What is that? What is that? I feel like the cuisines are similar.
Exactly.
Lime, cilantro.
I mean, like Thailand can't claim having chilies, right? That came from the Americas.
Right.
You know, and then, Thailand was able to adapt and learn how to use it to probably better than they have in Mexico, but it's a different type of heat, right? That they sort of play with. And I think melding the two, even making like mole or curry, is the same.
Very similar. Yeah, I agree.
Well, you want that on an enchilada with some good cheese and some meat in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, why not? Why not?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That sounds good. So, is there a restaurant that like is a bucket list restaurant that you'd love to open? Like money's no object, infinite amount of resources. There's something that you would like to do that you haven't done, or that you're not working on?
I don't know, man. That's a tough one because I'm trying to make all my dreams come true in terms of my bucket list, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, from a financial standpoint, I want to own a steakhouse.
Yeah.
Do I want to own an Italian restaurant? Yeah, I want to own an Italian restaurant. Well, I don't know how to make pasta, but I can make some fire ass sauces that aren't necessarily Italian that'll go really well with pasta.
Yeah, it's funny. I always talk with Gabe and Rico. It's like, let's open up a Mexican steakhouse.
Yeah,
like that's what I want to do. It's
it's funny that you mentioned that because I'm gonna open a Mexican steakhouse on South Congress.
We're not gonna open one on South Congress. Yeah, but I love the idea of a Mexican steakhouse. Is like, because I've always thought like steakhouses, they have good margins. Like you can make a lot of money on.
Correct.
You're selling a steak for $150.
Yes.
Yeah, food cost is high, but you're making like $100 per.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I like that, but I also think
it's the sauces, man. The
sausage
help. I mean, you can only go to so much au poivre, so much of this demi that most places don't even make. They just buy it, right?
And being Hispanic, like sometimes I don't eat my steak always with that. I want a tortilla. I want some grilled onions. I want salsa on the meat.
All the flavor, man.
Right.
All the flavor.
Yes. Yeah. So it was like, damn, we need to do a Mexican steakhouse. So anyway, yeah, fuck, we could talk about that for
all right. We could talk about steakhouses the next thing because I that's one thing I've been researching quite heavily is steakhouses and how to make it a little bit different.
Yeah, the steakhouse needs a rebrand, especially for the modern palate.
I think so, man. I think so. And it's hard. It's hard with steakhouses because there's certain things that you always got to give them, right? You always got to have your mashed potatoes, your cream spinach, but you're starting to see elotes on people's menus, right?
Yeah.
You're starting to see you got your Brussels sprouts, you got your elotes. You almost always see fried rice now on every steak menu.
Yeah.
You go to any of these steakhouses downtown, they have crab fried rice.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I can name at least 5 or 6 that's downtown right now that has fried rice.
Why fried rice?
Besides
it's good, but
it's part of the steak culture now. It's weird to me, but it's pretty smart because that's what people want to eat with sides. So that tells me that people are tired of just doing mac and cheese and stuff. I'm not saying that mac and cheese is wrong, but it's great. But
but it's like we have enough of those.
Yes, we have enough of those.
We have enough of steakhouses that have mashed potatoes, mac and cheese, and Caesar salad. Like, give us something different.
The other type of restaurant I wanted to open, and that this is just like a sort of a dream that they could be cool, would be just all outdoor space.
Yeah.
Have those Argentine parrillas, and just do it kind of like a Korean Argentinian a Brazilian steakhouse type deal, right? Where you're going around with the meat. You said all the banchan, so it's still all you can eat on the banchan and the kimchis.
Yeah.
But you're outdoors firing it up on wood. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let me ask you this, just because your mind is really interesting how it works. When we're having conversations. My creative process for me is I need to sit down, I need a quiet room, I need some Greek tea, have some classical music, and I need everyone out.
Yeah.
And then I just write.
Now,
how do your ideas come?
My ideas come by talking to people.
Yeah.
I like being around the restaurant. I like dreaming. I like and sometimes they come out kind of randomly. I think my brain's just kind of twisted in a way where I'm just always thinking about restaurants or food.
Yeah.
Because I don't love just food and I don't love just restaurants. I love everything about the industry.
Yeah.
So I geek out over condiments, and I look up one of my favorite things to do back in the day to get inspired for recipes and sauces was to look at the ingredient list. Of course, this was pre-YouTube days, or you can get all the info online. So I'll just read up on what these ingredients are and why I would utilize what's in those ingredients, and I try to copy it.
Yeah. So
That's how it starts.
was there ever any moment when you were doing that you're like, fuck, what is that? And then you made it's like, oh, that's what that is. Like just a mind blowing moment.
For sure, man. I mean, it's still on all Uchi's menus, like the yuzu kosher we made in house, like, and I didn't do it with yuzu, I did it with limes, and then everybody uses it now.
Yeah. Yeah. Just making a lime kosher.
Yeah. But I mean, this was before lime kosher, because this was like an 06, right? So we didn't call it a lime kosher. I just called it yuzu kosher, but I copied it. And then as we did that, everybody's like, oh, this is what this kosher is, Sort of the same thing with fried Brussels sprouts. I started frying Brussels sprouts in 04, 05. That's what was in the Eastside Kings menu first.
It's on everyone's menu.
It's on everyone's menu now,
Yeah.
And again, a nod to modernist cuisine, like, everybody's favorite, either if you're at Uchi, it's their beef toro. It's like their the short rib that they put on the nigiri piece.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that recipe came from Nathan Miravolden. I got inspired because I met him on Top Chef.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I got out of Top Chef, I put it on Uchi's menu.
Right.
And then as soon as I opened Pow, I shifted it a little bit and I put it on a Pow's menu.
Yeah.
But we do it as a smoked short rib over there.
Yeah.
And then when I did some work for the Poppy Steak guys, I put it on Poppy Steak as a pastrami. But it's the same base recipe.
So yeah, I mentioned Top Chef, and I want to ask you this. So you were on Top Chef, what, like 2010?
Yeah, it was 2010, I think. Season 9.
What made you want to go on? That was the Top Chef Texas, right?
Yeah, it was Top Chef Texas. I wanted to go on because I thought I'd be responsible partner to my future restaurant partners, which was key. Because I already had the restaurant deal before that, right? I already had Eastside King before Top Chef. I actually didn't know if I wanted to go on Top Chef because I was like, man, I'm going to lose all my street cred if I go on Top Chef.
Yeah.
Because it was back then, when Chang was kind of hating on Top Chef and all the chefs like Bourdain, all those guys would like kind of make fun of the Top Chef people.
Yeah.
And then I was like, do I really want to go on Top Chef right now? Because I'm already in a pretty good trajectory and I have a restaurant already. But yeah, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Being on TV can't be that bad. Let's go for it.
It's interesting. So I don't know if I've ever shared this with anyone on the podcast, but around that time, so after you had done Top Chef, the restaurant that I was in where I was a partner, my PR person said, hey, do you want to go on Top Chef?
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know. So I went and talked to a friend and they're like, you have nothing to gain because you're already a partner. Like, what are you going to get? Your own restaurant? You have that.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, you're right. So I ended up saying, no, it's not for me. He's like, you have a lot to lose.
Yeah.
If you don't win, you won.
Yeah.
So it's like you didn't have a lot. I mean, in retrospect, if you had known that, maybe you would have made a different decision. But
yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, it opened a lot of doors. It was pretty good. Is it me? Not really, but yeah. I mean, like, it felt good to be able to win the way I did. I was able to. Yeah. Because I feel like everybody that wants to get on that show wants to be famous. All I wanted to do was not get eliminated in the next challenge.
Yeah, that's so Tom Colicchio has said about you that you were the best cook on Top Chef. Yep. Not just that season, but I think he said you were like the best cook he'd ever seen on Top Chef.
Yeah.
Right. And he's like, we had to, and I'm paraphrasing what he said, but he's like, we had to make it look better for TV because you were smoking everyone. What is something about that show that people don't know that watch it? Like for the audience watching it, it's like, it's a lot of smoke and mirrors. Like it's entertainment. Like what's something about the show that would surprise you?
You're talking about a stressful environment. That's what they put you in, right? Yeah. I mean, it's a social experiment, right? You put everybody in a room that are strangers, that are all chefs. They're supposed to compete with each other. Yeah. There's no TV, no cell phone, no books, no nothing to read. So you have to interact with your roommate. Yeah. And I mean, think about like, I don't know. I haven't had a roommate in like 20 years, but like, think about getting thrown back into a house with a bunch of people that you don't know and you don't know their habits.
Right. Interesting. So they're putting you around people and they're creating situations that could be, they're adding extra stuff like sleep deprivation or, maybe the lights are on or stuff like that.
I mean,
it's not like CIA torture.
Yeah, I don't think it's CIA torture. It's not that bad. They give you ample time to sleep. They just wake you up early sometimes. Yeah. But it's definitely a formula for people not getting along, considering that you have to compete with them. You're naturally having to compete with somebody and you're in the same room with them.
Yeah, interesting. If someone like today, if someone was coming up to you like an up-and-coming sous chef or an up-and-coming chef and they said, hey, should I go on Top Chef? What would you say to that?
I'd say go do it, man. Yeah. Go do it, but don't but figure out what you want and who you are. Yeah. And it's okay to want to be a celebrity. There's nothing wrong with that, right? but know that that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's okay to just be a chef and just cook, but know exactly what you want and what you're doing.
Do you think, and I have my own feelings about it, but I'll ask what you think. Do you think, because I want to say like maybe the first seasons, I would say maybe up into yours and maybe a couple of after that. If you won, I think it was great for you. And even if you were on, I also think it was great for you.
Some of the most successful guys didn't win.
Right.
They're the guys that knew that they wanted to be a celebrity.
Right.
They didn't want to do restaurants. They're going to get as much exposure as they want, and they utilize it to get to gain what they're looking for.
If someone goes on Top Chef today, do you think they have the same amount of opportunities as someone that was on Top Chef 10 years ago? And I'm not talking about the winner. I'm just talking about someone that's going on.
I think it really does depend on the person.
Yeah.
And it seems like I don't know. It seems like the last few seasons are going for people that actually cook in restaurants still. But you got to think it's also like a 20-season show now, so it's not like it's
a lot of people have been on.
Yeah. But it's also not a primetime show. It's not as exciting anymore. Right.
Yeah.
So a lot of probably sponsors, because there's other cooking shows now. Right.
Yeah.
And then they throw you into that space where you're competing with other cooking celebrities on top of, social media celebrities now.
Right.
So you're competing against all these people, and just because you're in a cooking competition show doesn't mean that you're more charismatic on camera.
Right.
To get more opportunities, because that's what it comes down to, right? If you want to be famous in that realm,
I had judged auditions. I won't say which cooking show, but I had judged auditions for a cooking show, and it was the first time I'd ever judged it. And I remember the producer said, you got to taste their food, blah blah blah, and rate them. We have the things that we're checking off. She said, but if they have a really interesting personality and their food's not great, call me.
See, exactly, right? Exactly.
Yeah. So I thought, oh, okay. So it's like their food is trash, but they're fucking colorful. Call me.
Yeah. Still reality TV, right? So there still has to be one or two people that they're like, okay, this guy's gonna.
This is the antagonist, right? They're building a storyline too, right?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I feel like I had a fantasy at one point. I was like, man, I really want to get back on Top Chef, but I want to go back as a villain.
Yeah. It's like you throw salt in it, turn everyone's oven off.
Oh, man, yeah.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
Top Chef's watching, like, hey, let's do this. Go on. Anyway, I want to ask about advice.
Yeah.
So a lot of people that listen to the show, or they're young cooks, they're young chefs, and they're just trying to make it. So if you could go back and you look at your career, and you had a great career, but if someone was coming into the industry right now, green as can be, right out of culinary school or right out of high school, and they want to be a great chef, they look at what you've accomplished and say, I want that. What advice would you give them coming into the industry right now?
Gotta be humble.
Yeah.
Be humble. Of course, be smart, but I mean, respect. For me, it's just about respecting. I feel like, for me, it's about when you go in, you're humble. You go in as a, empty glass.
Yeah.
Soak up as much as you can, ask a bunch of questions. Of course, don't let people take advantage of you, but be a sponge, man. Ask questions, and don't come in saying, hey, I know how to do this.
Right.
That's probably the worst thing, for me, I feel like I'm finding fewer and fewer candidates that just really want to be a chef.
Yeah.
But if you do, go into a kitchen and learn as much as you can, always be positive, always give credit.
Yeah.
And for me, what worked for me was finding a chef that I respected and saying, hey, I'll be here for you no matter what.
Yeah.
And, and I rode that way for 8 years, and that sort of worked for me. But again, for a young chef, I would just say, hey, just come in not knowing anything. And really, but really pick your mentor though, too. You know what I mean?
That's so important.
They'll go blindly into a kitchen, right? Pick somebody you really look up to. You can really get down with their values. And the values are very important, not just the food.
Yeah.
Right? Their work values, their work ethic, how the kitchen is operating. Find that right place, because it's like interviewing your mentor, right? Pick the right one, come in humble, and learn as much as you can.
What's interesting is I've noticed this a lot in kitchens. When you're a new cook, and the vultures kind of surround you, like everyone kind of wants to be your mentor. And sometimes it's like bad line cooks.
Yeah.
Like
there's going to be a lot of those.
There's a lot of people that, let me show you the ropes. And
there's going to be a lot of those.
And they just want to feed you negative bullshit. This industry sucks and this, that, and the other. And so people that are listening, be prepared, because the vultures do come out. And just because someone wants to mentor you doesn't mean it's the right mentor.
Correct. It's usually not the right mentor, because usually when people come to me asking me to mentor them, I try to talk them out of it. I give them all the shit in the beginning, right up front. This is why you shouldn't do this. This sucks. This is what you're gonna pay us. I set the expectation right in the beginning. If you still want to do this, then yeah, I'll come. I'll do my best to teach you.
Yeah. Interesting. So you had said right now that a lot of people coming in don't necessarily want to be chefs. What is it that they want to like? What are you hearing?
I mean, there's been a few where like, hey, I'm about to go on this TV show. Can you coach me to do this? Or they think it's a good idea at first, and like they realize that maybe it's not for them, and or like they want to do it, but they only want to work mornings. Like
Yeah.
I feel like a part of it, it's like, what? Like I'd rather not hire these guys. I'm like, just come work for me. Like or just come hang out. You don't even have to work. Just come hang out with us for a week and tell me if you like it.
Right. You're making a big decision.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. You might not like it. So, yeah. And I think a lot of young cooks come into the industry, and the first thing they want to do is they want to get into the creative process right away.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, but you
yeah. Well, exactly. The foundation is important before the creative. The creative, I'll listen to your ideas. We could talk about it.
Yeah.
But that's not your job right now. Your focus is to get your fundamentals going.
Yeah.
There's no value in your ideas unless you have the, the credentials to execute it. I feel like,
If you had like a chef's PSA out there for cooks or chefs, something that let's think about too. One that like stop doing this, cooks and chefs. Like if you're listening, stop doing this in the kitchen and start doing this.
And you know how common that is taste your food.
Yeah.
I'm like, even till this day, I'm getting chefs that are like, hey chef, can you taste this? Check out my pretty plate. I'm like, have you eaten it?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh no, we haven't tasted it. I'm like, why are you giving it to me for?
Yeah. And not just like a lot of chefs will taste components. Like I tasted this like out of depth.
Yeah,
if they hadn't tasted
that's another thing where I'm like tasting different components and they're like, oh well, it's supposed to be eaten together. No, I was like, each component needs to be fucking delicious.
Yeah.
And the whole dish will be delicious.
Right.
It's not gonna be delicious because you're just putting it all together and this is sweet and not sweet. If it's unbalanced, it's unbalanced, man.
Right.
Yeah.
So taste everything individually and then taste it together.
Correct. Yeah. And keep on tasting food, man.
Right.
Like even like at Top Row recently, everybody's like, especially the luxury stuff, right? Like uni or caviar or whatever. I'm like, I tasted a hand roll right yesterday when we were opening, and I was like, man, this is a little old. Did you taste it? And they're like, no, I don't want to touch it. It's caviar. I'm like, fucking taste it, man. You're serving it to somebody.
Yeah.
Like in this restaurant, if it doesn't taste good, throw it away.
Right. By the way, I ate there with Rico for it was our New Year's out, right?
Yeah.
And I had your was it the matcha portuguese?
Yeah.
It was really good with a dollop of caviar.
Yeah, dude.
It was so good.
I gotta give props to one of my sous chefs, Daniel, that did that.
Yeah, everything was good, but at the table everyone was fighting for the last spoon.
Yeah.
Still good. Yeah, it was really good. Yeah, it was fun. And then what's something that so you mentioned have people start tasting their food more. What's something that you want to see people stop doing in the kitchen? What's like that one pet peeve, like stop doing this shit?
I mean, the biggest thing that gets on my nerves when they tell me is that not their station chef. You're not my job.
Yeah.
Not my job, not my station. I don't care front or back, man. This is our house. That's what I tell everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, that drives me crazy. Not my station.
Yeah. It is. I mean, physically doing in the kitchen, man, like for me, it's just like, man, stop fucking putting towels in your pockets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that gets on me too. I'm like, clean your bane. I don't want 1,000 spoons in your fucking bane. Like you only need two or three. Right. Make sure you rinse it and clean it every single time.
Yeah.
I mean, sushi specific, like everybody has a little bowl of water, right? For rice. I'm like, that can't look like rice soup. It's got to be clear every single time. It has to be a fucking sterile environment. It has to be completely sterile.
Right.
Because you're serving raw food.
Yeah.
And then like, well, what are other things, man? There's actually quite a few that really get on my nerves.
Let's go.
And this is sort of the part of me, like, I'm like, damn it, I shouldn't have been the chef because I put the chef hat on and then I'm like OCD, right?
Yeah.
Like for me, it's just like cutting the tape on the fucking labels.
So do you use scissors or do you use tape cutters?
We have a tape cutter, but I prefer the cutting board and the knife.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Consolidating, rotating, tasting the food is a huge thing, and putting fucking care in a family meal, man.
Yeah.
Like for me, it's just like if you're gonna plate a family meal, plate it up like you're feeding somebody. It's not an afterthought. It's never an afterthought.
Yeah.
Taking care of your people is number one. Oh, flipping pans at the end of the night as well, and I think saute stations that use too many pans.
Yeah.
Like if you have 6 burners, you have 12 burners, you don't really need 30 pans or, like stacks of steaks or whatever. It's not like it's going to heat up any better. You know what I mean? All you're doing is denting your pans.
Yeah. Well, speaking of saute pans, do you have a specific, a lot of chefs are like, no, I like the French, cast iron saute pans? You know
Yeah,
what I'm talking about? Or
those.
do you like the all clad or made in traditional sloping side sauteuse?
I've never gotten to cook with a made-in pan yet.
You live in Austin. You haven't had a made in pan?
So I have one pan I use.
Yeah.
Because Tyson gave it to me. I think it was my birthday. It was one of the years where I got promoted, and he gave me a pan.
Yeah.
And it is more of like a sautoir. That's yeah. I know I live in Austin. I haven't cooked in a made-in pan, but it has like a copper lining on it, and I use that for a lot of stuff. And a lid. I like using lids too.
Yeah.
I think lids are very underused. There's a reason why it's designed with a lid.
Yeah.
But part of the reason why I haven't cooked in a made-in pan yet is because I still have all my pans from my original restaurants, right?
Are you really?
So I still have my cast irons. I have some RVA, and I have some and I still have my all clouds, and they last forever.
Yeah. Do you like cast iron saute? I love cast iron saute pans. Like,
And I do like cooking on French fries. I don't have one at any of the restaurants right now,
but
but
like cooking on French tops?
yeah, French tops.
Yeah.
The French eyes. do like cooking on those. Man, I like cooking on those in fire. But yeah, I mean, for me, I like the cast iron saute pan, the French cast iron saute pans. Actually, I like that for
I do too.
for service. Yeah.
I use those. I use those a lot, and I sometimes we get a lot of pushback from my chefs. They're like, "Oh, we don't like."
There's a little bit of heavier pans, and I like them. But for
Yeah.
me, they keep consistent heat, and they're easy to clean. Because when I run a saute line, I don't like having a bunch of pans. I just like having like two, and I can clean it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. If you had to list like your 4 chefs that would be on Mount Rushmore for you, like if you had to get like who had the biggest influence on you in your career, and it could be people that you've met or never met.
Okay, I mean, like for me, in terms of people that had influenced me quite a bit, right? I'll just start with the local chefs that had influenced me quite a bit, and some of these guys aren't around. There's some of them still cook. Some of them cook in New York now. You know, the chefs that influenced me the most from Austin, right? I'll give it, of course, Tyson, right? Sean Circle was also a big influence.
Sure.
Yeah, not a lot of people know it, but Uchi hired Sean to teach me how to cook.
Really?
Yeah, because Tyson doesn't cook. He's a sushi chef, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And then before those two, I actually had 2 more mentors. One was Andrew Bell, and one was Deegan McClung. They both were cooking at Wink. I think Deegan is a chef for the Coat Group right now.
Yeah.
And I think Andrew, I lost touch with him, but he's in Dallas now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I think he had a barbecue restaurant.
Yeah.
But those guys were very influential to my upbringing here in Austin, right? And then during that time, like when Sean was trying to open my mind with other chefs, he introduced me to 2 books. One was Burgundy Stars. So that's Burgundy Stars and White Heat, right? So that's Marco Pierre White,
Right.
and Bernard Lasso. Bernard Lasso was the chef that killed himself
Yeah.
because he lost a star.
Yeah.
So
I didn't know he had a book though.
Yeah,
And you said it's called what? Burgundy what?
Burgundy Stars.
Burgundy Stars.
Because Sean was like, hey, I'm going to teach you these 2 things. Read these 2 books just so you know what the chef life is going to be like.
Yeah.
Right?
Did you ever read the book The Professional? Bernard Loiseau? Not the person.
No, I haven't
good.
read. Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. So, and then those 2 was a big influence to me, right? And then, of course, like for me, when it comes to the El Bulli era, right? So it's Ferrand and Albert are huge influences. Like Spanish cooking is probably how I cook now the most.
Yeah.
And of course, I mean, Jorge was a huge influence in introducing me to that. Jorge Hernandez, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That works with
Emmer and Rye now.
the MRI group now, right? But and then that's sort of how I was able to benchmark my cooking when it comes to. I feel like it's definitely has a Spanish foundation. I do have lines of Japanese and some French in there. I mean, of course, like again, my number 1 favorite book that inspired me of all time is Michel Bras, right?
Yeah.
So he's up there as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Wild.
Yeah.
So many shout out to all those chefs, legends. Chef, thanks for your time. Where can people find you?
You could find me at Top Row.
Top Row. Yeah.
Come and see me at Top Row.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Chef. I appreciate your time. This was fun. We'll do it again.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed the show. If you want to support Chef's PSA, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple, make sure you leave 5 stars, nothing less. Go to chefspsa.com to get Chef Brains. Keep listening. If you want early access to episodes, you could become a premium member and listen to episodes before anyone else on Substack or on Spotify now too. We'll see you next week. Hit the porno music.
No Andre in the kitchen, mixing, dropping chef knowledge, no fiction. Stirring up the beats, heating up the session. Listen close, class is in session.